Hey gang, I'm Geoff Barker from Sabarac, and you're watching Chilli in the Name of.
Chilli in the name of.
The pimp's in the crib, ma. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hot.
Hello again and welcome to another episode of Chilli in the Name of. In this episode, I am joined live from Brisbane by Geoff Barker. How are you, Geoff?
I'm very well, Marty. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you. For those who don't know Geoff, he's the owner and proprietor of Sabarac Sauces and Condiments. So today, Geoff and I are both trying out a sauce by the Fermentalists. That's what this one looks like. I've made sure that Geoff's got a bottle of that one as well. It's a habanero hot sauce. Now, the reason why we've got Geoff on to try this out is because he's pretty much Australia's most celebrated fermented sauce maker, at least as far as I'm concerned. And a lot of other people would be nodding in agreement with me there. So somewhat of an expert on fermented sauces. Now, this one popped up in my feed on my Facebook feed as an ad. Yeah, obviously the algorithms are working because it's in my interests. Yours also.
Same here. Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely. I see it all the time.
And it's quite an intriguing little bottle. It's really simple looking, and it's just got a lot of information on there. What are your thoughts on that label there, Geoff?
I quite like it, actually. I'm a fan of simple and catchy, and it clearly states exactly what it is. It's a habanero hot sauce. Yeah. There's no BS to it. It simply states that it's naturally fermented chili sauce. I do like the fact that they've included on there their barrel contact. So if you don't already follow these guys on Instagram and Facebook, I highly recommend it. So the barrel contact that they're talking about here is toasted American oak. And what they do is they actually soak the vinegar, apple cider vinegar for this sauce, with toasted American oak chips. So it infuses the vinegar with that flavor profile. Honestly, Marty, I love the feel. Just that real sort of rough kind of texture, simplistic feel to it. It's different and it's really good.
Yeah, and the inclusion of, it's a smallish bottle. It's 100 ml, I think. Does it actually say on there 100 ml? And it's got a dropper, an eyedropper, or a dropper instead of like an applicator or whatever. Like instead of just an open mouth bottle. It's actually quite an interesting looking. It's almost medicinal in its look, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, let's have a look at the sauce then, shall we? It's sort of a sort of a thickish consistency. For a fermented sauce, it could be much thinner. Sort of a medium, actually.
Yeah, so not quite as thick as a tomato sauce with ketchup, but definitely a thicker consistency than your Tabasco style hot sauces.
I'd say that would be less vinegar involved in it, maybe.
Yeah, definitely less vinegar in this one.
35% habaneros. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got xanthan gum in it, which gives it that probably that thickness, that sort of shininess to it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to crack it open and have a go at it?
Let's see what it's like, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Give it a sniff.
Oh yeah, that's fermented habaneros.
Yeah, and it has that quite strongly the cider flavour there as well. Yeah. Just drop it. It doesn't seem to be working as well as it could be. Well, I'm going to fill up a spoon with it. I might have to actually pour it out from the bottle.
That might be the most efficient way, Marty.
It's got a lovely consistency.
It does. It does.
And it's a beautiful colour. Like that's one thing about ferments is you often get that really bright, vibrant colour coming through, and you can actually see it on the edges. You probably can't see it in this shot, but on the edges of the spoon of the blob of sauce there, it's actually glowing in the sunlight. So
that's beautiful.
It smells good.
It does, doesn't it?
It smells really simple. I'm gonna put a bit more on so I match you. There we go. All right.
The fermented habaneros, they're one of my favourites, to be honest. They really smell, the quintessential flavour of the habaneros there.
Yeah. Let's give it a taste.
Bottoms up.
Straight away, you got that sting on the side of the tongue.
Yep.
But it's very vegetable, isn't it? It's a vegetal.
Yeah, there's almost a hint of tomato, even though there's no tomato on the sauce. It's that kind of aroma that you get from it.
Yeah, totally. It's almost got almost a V8 juice sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Tomato juice sort of flavour.
Honestly, Marty, I was expecting with vinegar being the first ingredient for it to be a lot heavier with the vinegar flavour forward, but it's almost pure habanero.
Yeah, and the vinegar sits right back, doesn't it?
Yep, so you kind of get the bite and the flavour of the vinegar at the back of the palate, just sitting there. And the habaneros are just floating around the mouth and just getting everywhere. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really quite lovely, actually. Complex flavours, and the only other inclusions in there are garlic, which you can taste, and the salt, which is not, again, it's balanced. It's not super salty.
No, that's quite a nice sauce, and a very versatile sauce as well, I'd say, Marty.
Yeah.
I'd put that on virtually anything.
Pretty much, yeah. And it's not too hot, is it?
No, but I'd say it's between that medium to hot kind of heat. So for people that are getting started in their hot sauce experience, that may be on the upper end of the scale with heat. But it's just like we both had reasonable sized spoons of that.
Yeah.
That's just really nice.
Yeah.
It's got a good bite to it, but it's not brutal. Like it's not going to hurt.
And it's waning quite quickly too, isn't it? Like the heat is dissipating now. For the amount that we had, that puts it sort of in the mid to lower range for me. For me, in terms of heat, I'd probably give this a 4 out of 10. What would you give it?
For me, Marty, I'm going to give that a 6 out of 10. Obviously, my tolerance isn't quite up to your esteemed standard. But for flavour, that's a 10 for me.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's great. Yeah, so that's everyone. So that's the Fermentalist. You'll see these floating around on Facebook, Instagram. Look up thefermentalist.com.au. That's the Fermentalist, fermentalists.com.au. They're really quite easy to approach as well. I talked to them on Messenger about this sauce, and they often were doing them on consignment for restaurants. And this one was a direct to public one, and he only does one batch a year, I think he said, of this stuff. So
yeah, he doesn't do it all that often.
Yeah, or it could be 2 batches a year or something like that.
Yeah, and they've just released also their very first Reaper hot sauce.
Fantastic. Well, I'll have to keep an eye out for that one for sure.
Yeah, I will, Martin.
Yeah, look, I'm really impressed.
Yep, same. And I guess that's a beautiful part about the fermentation. That, as we discussed, the ingredients list here is 4 ingredients. So you've got the apple cider vinegar, you've got the habaneros, garlic, Himalayan salt, and then the xanthan gum just to bind and give it that beautiful consistency that we're talking about.
Exactly.
And from that 4 ingredient sauce, amazing. Truly amazing.
Yeah, good stuff. Oh, well, great. Thanks for joining me on this episode there, Geoff. It's great to have your opinion on someone else's work, as well as, I've want to talk about your work. It's good to see you talk about someone else's as well.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Look, it was an absolute pleasure. And I love seeing other players come into the fermented side of things and being able to deliver on such a good sauce as well.
Yeah. And with that, we'll talk to you again soon. But until next time, see you later.
Chilli in the name of